Nick, obviously it's been a pretty, I guess, drama-filled week, at least early on. I'm curious now that you've had a full week with the team, how do you think they responded to it?
Yeah, I think when we the last time we thought about that was Wednesday when you guys kind of asked us the questions and we kind of addressed it, and I said what I said, and really since then it's been a non-issue, and we've had a really good week of practice and great meetings and great walkthroughs, and yeah, we moved on pretty quick from that, and I think that's a good sign of a good team.
Jalen said on Wednesday that there are times where he sees himself holding the ball too long. What can be done to help him improve in that regard? Yeah,
I have no doubt in my mind that Jalen Hurts continually will get better at things that he perceives as something that's going on, or we perceive as something that's going on. He just continues to get better and win football games, which is at the end of the day, the main thing is to win football games. And Jalen does it at a better clip than pretty much everybody else. And so, again, it's things that we do to put together the game plan, ways he goes through his reads, practice time, walkthrough time, all those things will contribute to him getting better at, what he talked about.
Nick, when did you start playing celebrations for the team in meetings on Mondays?
Yeah, again, I think, one thing that I look at other people's cultures and as far as I've done a lot of studying of that, and I was really interested in Steve Kerr's, and one of the things that he talked about in his culture that I've read about and I've never got a chance to talk to him, would love to talk to him, was just joy. And so one thing I read that he made it a point of putting up pictures of the guys in the building of that current team and of them celebrating and really kind of talking about their core values. And so that's why there's so you guys don't get to go around this whole building, but there's a ton of pictures and video boards of our guys doing those things, and I was kind of inspired by Coach Kerr there. And so we've had that with the video boards throughout the meeting. You see those in the locker room and through the pictures. But this year was we started that at this beginning of this year of just showing some of the celebrations there when we recap the game. It's a little quick highlight video of the guys, talking and showing our culture, our tough, detailed, together culture. And so we like to point those things out, just like we like to point out things, from the game, whether mistake or whether good things, and how we kind of go over that. We thought that it'd be good to do that same thing with culture points, just the same way that you go over game details, because your culture is just as important as the things that are happening out there, and they're a result of the things that happen out there. So that kind of the celebration thing kind of started this year as far as that goes.
The Steelers are number one in takeaways. Mm-hmm. What is it that they do so well in that respect, and what becomes key for you guys?
Number 90 is outstanding, and he you can see how he plays and the ability he has to get to the quarterback and retrace to the quarterback and always have that ball in his mind. And I think that when you have a guy like that, my experience has been when you have a guy that's a ball hawk like him, that kind of goes throughout, and Minkah Fitzpatrick is too on the back end. That kind of, those guys get an opportunity to learn from him. And so you can see Herbig playing that way, and you see Highsmith playing that way. And so they just do a really good job of getting after the quarterback and having the ball on their mind when that happens. So we have to, counter that, and we have different ways that we will need to do that. We'll have to play a good game because they're good players. But you can tell, again, I think I said this earlier in the week, you can tell that it's part of their culture. You can tell that Coach Tomlin talks about it a lot. I guess you get to see it a little bit in the episodes of Hard Knocks when he talks about it. It's an advantage. You get to see some of those things, but got a lot of respect for Coach Tomlin and his staff and how consistent he has been throughout his entire career. It's very impressive. And that doesn't happen without, good culture, good players, good coaches.
Two more, please. As someone who's never had a losing season, what appreciation do you have for 18 years without one?
Man, 18 years. 4 years, 18 years, big, obviously a big difference. And consistency, and teams that are able to sustain success, I think that's so impressive. Because I think you can say it, you see it in this league all the time that, hey, this team came out of nowhere, had a big year, and then they don't have another good year or whatever it is, right? Or the thing that I admire so much, and I think that you get that appreciation when you've been in part of something, like being at Mount Union and the sustained success of Mount Union always taught me, like, no, I'm going to root for teams like that. When I was younger, like, because everyone when I was growing up hated the Yankees because they won all the time, or they hated Mount Union and because they won all the time. So you'd come, like, I think being a part of that, I ended up admiring that and not rooting against those teams until obviously, we get into here and you don't root for one team or the other. And so it just taught me admire the success and the sustained success, because that is a difficult thing, especially in this league, especially the way the rules are kind of wrote up and the way the draft status goes and the way the schedule goes after it. This is a hard business to have sustained success. And so, I can't say enough of, anytime I've ever had a conversation with Coach Tomlin, admire the heck out of him, can see his passion for the game and how he coaches. You get to watch it on television, and then you get to see the sustained success and how his teams play football. You can tell his teams play football tough. They take care of the ball. They take the ball away, the fundamentals, the details, and so I always admire that.
Last one.
The Steelers were also first in time of possession margin, and paired with how good they are at taking away the ball. This week, how much has that been part of the conversation as you're trying to fix the passing game? Because they can punish you for mistakes and also, take time off the clock in a lot of ways that maybe last week seemed to.
Yeah, again, I go back to to fix the passing game. I mean, we're trying to get better there. I don't see it as broken, and we're just trying to we got the right players in place, we got the right coaches in place. We're going to keep getting better there. Everything's accounted for. We talk about the ball each week, and so the ball is completely on our minds. We know it's important to them. It's always been important to us. We know that's going to be a big emphasis on both sides this week, and a big determinant of who's going to win the game, because that's a stat that always, there's a lot of stats you can look at, and you can kind of I don't want to say, you can look at there's so many different stats, this, that, boom, boom. I think one of the ones that we pay attention to a lot that has stand the test of time is that turnover differential. And so that will be on our mind, and I know they'll be on their mind as well.
All right, thanks.